welcome back to Drunk Story. I swear I have not had that much to drink yet. I did just get back from running to the kitchen though, so maybe that, I'll blame it on that. Welcome back to Drunk Storytime with Quefish. So I finished those two teeny little bottles. I think I've got like a half a mouthful left in this one. It wasn't all that great. Nothing to write home about, but I'll link it if anyone cares. So, excuse me. So I'm changing over to a different drink now. I don't remember what it's called. I'm gonna go back and find it in the other videos because I've done this before, but it is literally just red wine and Chambord. I did not have high hopes for it when the first time I had it, and it's magical. It did not matter what the red wine was, and so I got this beautiful playtime with a beautiful femme Crowley on the front. And so I'm just doing that with some Chambord. Okay, so we just did IneffableAlien's crack fix. We did chapters 1 and 2, both of which I did realize, motherfucker, Christ on a cracker. I did realize, shit balls. Be right back. I got it. Still smells good. Oh my god, that's embarrassing. I've hardly had anything to drink. Is that when you're supposed to cut yourself off and you can't even open it? And I tried to put the lid on upside down. I love this stuff. Most liqueurs that I've ever had, it didn't really matter if it was like the name brand or just like raspberry liqueur. It really makes a difference with Chambord. I don't know why. Maybe I'm just being snobby and it doesn't actually make a difference at all. But I'm gonna go ahead and tiny stir this. I think it's called like a bloodshot or something. I don't know. It's something gothy. That's all I can remember. But it's like a bloodbath. Maybe it's a bloodbath. Maybe. I don't remember. Okay, so going back to IneffableAlien. Wow, I've wasted 3 minutes. Sorry. Oh, so worth it. Make It Cursed. This is all from One Rock of Crack, please, by the way. I know I have not read these. So, Make It Cursed. The prompt was Pride, and this was essentially fanfic for Cleo's art, to be honest. Update. This fic won grossest imagery in this week's Olt's 24-hour crack fic challenge with 100% of the votes. My mother must be very proud. We're all very proud, Alien. Grossest imagery. And by the way, when you check this link, hopefully Cleo is linked in here somewhere, because if you don't know who Cleo is, you really do need to. Although if you're watching this video, you probably already know who they are. So what's this one called? Make It Cursed. When Aziraphale walked into the living room just to see Crowley's eyes glued to his laptop screen, brows furrowed, tapping one finger to his slightly parted lips, clearly deeply in thought, Aziraphale very nearly noped right back out. "Oh dear," Aziraphale sighed. "You're doing it again, aren't you? Now, we've talked about this. It always leaves you in such a tetchy mood." Crowley's body language indicated that he hadn't even heard the question, essentially confirming that he was, in fact, doing the thing. What is the thing? Is he reading the comments? Don't ever read the comments. "Right," said Aziraphale, punctuating his clipped tone with a nod. "I'm going to make tea." Aziraphale returned, cups in hand, setting one beside Crowley for him to not really drink. The picture of the soft steam rising, coupled with the heat radiating on his wrist, shook him awake. "What thing?" He asked this like no time had passed since Aziraphale had asked the question. "You know exactly what thing," replied Aziraphale. "You are inquiring the internet about us." Inquiring the internet. Dear internet. "Googling," said Crowley as a reflex. "But no, that's not exactly it." He gestured at the dark blue screen. "I helped build this one. Oh no, is it Tumblr?" Dark blue screen. "I helped build this one, you know. It's gotta be Tumblr," he said grandly. He leaned back and stretched. Not that he needed it, but for the change of scenery. "You don't want to know," he said at last, but Aziraphale gave an encouraging nod for him to continue. "Well, you know, it's their gay pride thingy this month," he said. "Ton of art of us there is." "Oh, how delightful," said Aziraphale. "I have always been so fond of certain human social spheres." "Yeah, I know," thought Crowley, especially through the century I was asleep. "Well," he said, "this one's got me stuck." He leaned in toward the screen once more. "Generally, I can find anything online that's got a demonic smell about it." Crowley clicked over to a different tab that had been open, a white screen now. "But I've tried every search term I can think of." Oh no! Every search term I can think of for it. Unbirth, belly kink, inflation, xeno, vaginal vor. Is that when it's got teeth? His voice trailed off absently. "Well," Aziraphale said slowly, "those are certainly all words." Wow, no words. He considered something a moment. "It is in regard to some sexual behavior, yes?" "Right, yeah," said Crowley. "I knew you wouldn't want to know." "Oh, but you're wrong." Oh, no. "Oh, but you're wrong, my dear," said Aziraphale. "What, after all, is the point of saving the world after 6,000 years if one does not seek to learn everything there is to know?" Aziraphale smiled. "I can think of no better way to honor this respectable human celebration of largely sex-based identities than to continue to discover, as we have done, all heretofore unexplored corners of the spectrum." Jesus. Fucking baby Jesus, save me. Crowley considered this. His smile widened, his features suddenly impossibly sharper. "It would make a lot more sense if I would just showed you," he said at last, his golden irises expanding almost imperceptibly. He leaned in, nipping at Aziraphale's throat and relishing the small sound that resulted. "Why don't you start by making a pretty little pussy for me, and then we can take this upstairs," he murmured. "Oh," Aziraphale breathed. "I'm one step ahead of you, my darling." Let it be known through the powers of angelic strength and stretching, a snake enters a vaginal canal as smoothly as a Tampax pearl applicator. God. I want to see that in their ads, please and thank you. And I have to do this because it's funny that it was because of Cleo's pride thing. Because I got some of their prints. Because they made me laugh so much. I got Just Pray I Don't Break Your Jaw on the Way Out. And I'm gonna show it. I got it because regardless of how I know that that's like the cursed fic on the internet right now. But I just like the reaction that everyone gives to it. That makes the fic so much better. They did not write the fic, they just made the art. I don't recall who wrote the fic. Anyway, neither here nor there. So, chapter 4, from One Rock of Crack, please. Accidental Discorporation. Oh dear. This fic won in the "This made me horny and I didn't like it" category in this week's Olths, OLHTS, Oh Lord Heal This server? Snake? Spectrum? Sparkle? 24-hour crack fic challenge. Boy, you win a lot of these. I'm so glad you're my friend. Anyway, what was this one called? Grip. Nobody imagined things quite so well as Crowley. We know this, of course. It was how he survived the M25. Arguably, how he could stop time. I almost said crime, like this is Batman. But it might not go without saying that such powers of imagination also lend themselves remarkably well to some bang-up sexy times. Crowley was alone in his flat, and his rigid form was draped impossibly over the arms of his velvet throne, and he was imagining. Arching his back as no human spine could, Crowley fucked upwards into the perfect squeeze of his fist. His fangs had manifested so slightly, and a curved crescent now curled into the... There's too many C's in this sentence. A curved crescent now curled into the corner along his bottom lip, threatening to draw blood. He was growl moaning, a sound that reverberated in his chest and got caught in the tightness of his throat, which mirrored the grappling tightness of those long, thin fingers. Crowley's golden eyes were clenched shut, and the Stygian red flowers bloomed across the back of his heavy lids. Are they red? Anyway, he sank into the cushion suddenly, forcing his hand to stutter to a full stop before resuming an agonizingly slow pace. He was edging, desperate to come, desperate for it to never end. The one thing Crowley had possibly not imagined before this moment was how good he could make this feel. Around his cock head, Crowley spread the beads from his desperate anticipation with his thumb while he pumped furiously. His eyes blew open wide at that, and those flowers didn't go away. though they were now dull black and obscuring the pale, dusted sunlight streaming in the French doors to his balcony. There was no way he could hold back any longer. As he choked his prick and quickened his movements again at last, Crowley noted how distant the sounds of his slapping slick skin had become. He would have shouted if he weren't beyond sound, as he came up high enough on his belly to slap his chest, splash his chest. The blood sounded in Crowley's ears, and then the world went white. Crowley had no choice but to let that unforgiving fog so vast consume him. And as Crowley whimpered, dry and inaudible beneath the leather belt around his neck, he dimly realized that he had imagined far too well that his corporation needed air to survive. Oh no! Oh God. Is that snotto asphyxiation? Snake auto asphyxiation? Snotto asphyxiation. I said it. Or autosnisphyxiation. That one's a little bit harder though. Oh my God, is he gonna get his body back? What would happen if either one of them discorporated, with heaven and hell being so afraid, not, or respectfully afraid, nervous, however you want to phrase that? Now, what would happen? Would they just be like, okay, what the fuck would have gotten them? And just like slammed them into a new body and like shot them out of a cannon to get rid of them? Or they'd have been like, oh, so you aren't invincible. I haven't quite decided which way I think that would go. Of course, this corporation is different than destruction. So it's not out of the realm of possibility for them to be, for their bodies to die so much as their essence to be destroyed, I guess. Anywho, so that was chapter 3 and 4 of One Rock of Crack, please, from IneffableAlien. Hope you liked it, and I'm going to keep drinking, and I will be back.